What is the best way to go about vetting tenants? Should I have a broker do it or should I? And definitely you can vet your own tenants. We recommend it. And one of our reasons for being is to help landlords like ourselves self-manage property so that we don't have to pay brokers or property managers to do that for us. And it's, in this day and age, it's very easy to do. So there are lots of different background screening services out there. Apply Connect, for example, does, like Pay Rent. Apply Connect really just focuses on doing background eviction, criminal screening, background reports, and credit reporting. Now, that's also built into all these full service platforms that we've talked about, which is what we advocate. But at any rate, there are all kinds of tools to do it. And what we recommend is that you start by developing a rental criteria checklist, which is required here in Seattle and other places, by which you just say, here's what an applicant needs to fulfill in order to be accepted. So you need to not have any pets, not be a smoker, have 3 times the monthly rent in income each month, 12-month lease, rental references that check out, et cetera. It's just a list of things that have to be fulfilled. And if they are, then you say, yes, I'm going to accept this applicant. So that's right up front. That's one of the most important types of vetting you can do, is to tell people what they have to show up with in order to be accepted. And then do pre-screening. Like I was saying before, I ask about animals and income and smoking and move-in date. That's the way I do my pre-screening. Some of the platforms have set pre-screeners, and it's kind of like a mini application. Turbo Tenant does that. And there are lots of articles we've written on screening, and there are lots of free ways to do it because the applicant pretty well always pays for the report. Depending on the service, it's $25 to $40 or maybe $50, and they pay directly. And if you just want a la carte tenant screening services, there's Rent Prep, Apply Connect, and then there are the others that do all the other features as well. And then once you've got your application and your reports in hand, sit down and really look at them thoroughly. Does this person meet the criteria that you've set? Or have you been able to reach some of their references? Ideally, a few past rental references. And if you can't reach those, and sometimes I will reach out to an employer, just verifying the information and open-ended questions. In fact, we have an article about what questions to ask, and look at the credit scores. I set a minimum credit score at 650, and that there are no outstanding delinquencies, and that there are no more than 2 late payments over the course of the last 2 years. That's just an example. Check on evictions if you're allowed to. You're not in all cases. Check to see whether or not there's any criminal history. And in all cases that I'm aware of, you are able to take into consideration sex offender status. So set your own criteria, but that would be something that would lead to me not accepting an applicant. And once you get through going through and reviewing all of this, then there is, in a lot of these, there's kind of a green light, red light function where you say, yes, I accept, or, thanks anyway, but I'm not going to accept you as a tenant, and which will, ultimately then lead, in property management software platforms, will lead you into taking the next step, writing the lease, beginning to collect rent, and all those things.